I'm sharpening the Yoshikane 180mm petty, and the steel type is SKD-11, which is the same thing as D2, and the hardness is 64. And I'm going to use inexpensive 800 grit and 4000 grit combo stone. This knife is have fairly acute angle. It's somewhere between probably about 24 to 26 degrees. So it's a pretty aggressive cutter. And this 800 grit King combination does produce pretty good scratch pattern for the blade. From the sound, you can hear that the bevel, the apex, is being pretty much formed right now, and have probably some burrs forming right now. You can hear that sound right there because of the vibration of that apex. And there's some mud working up, and with the mud you do a little bit of lapping so that the scratch pattern is going to be pretty for this clad knife. Here I can feel a little tiny burr, which I know that the apex already been reached. And you can see the angle here really low. So that, and for this knife of D2, Japanese version of D2, which is SKD-11, it's fairly hard because 64. Rockwell hardness, so you may end up with a lot of a little burr. It's actually not easy to knock it off, to remove. Now the mud fairly thick, but I think the bevel pretty much, the apex already been reached, and I can feel the sharpness throughout. So I'm going to wash the knife and the stone. And with the 800 grit, the scratch pattern is really pretty. There's some other previous scratch, but you can see the nice glaze to it, and it's kind of where there's some harder scratch over here that I ran early on. But however, you can see that got a nice mist and kind of foggy looking, and it's pretty nice for this kind of inexpensive stone here. And so I'm going to switch to the 4000 grit right now, and I'm going to give it a little bit more polish, edge, and bevel. The objective again is when you're looking for a sharp edge, if there's any wobbling in your stroke, it's just going to give it a little bit more convex in your bevel, would help the foot release. So it's not all bad when you say, oh, I have to get steady hand. You don't really need steady. That's steady hand, as long as your bevel is all nice and convex and the edge all sharp, then you are set. So again, very low angle, and you can see all the metal being removed, all black in here in this mud. And right now, as I'm doing this back and forth, they're going to be a little wire, a little burr forming at the edge, and you can feel it. It's there. Sometimes, you know, right now too much to take up mud. Sometimes I just loosen it up, and a few drops of water will loosen it up. I'm pretty much polished some of the bevel. You can see the bevel, I mean the primary bevel, I'm pretty much all the way up very high. It's not like tiny little bit that a lot of times you see. This is way up here. So you know the angle is really, really low. So when I get to this point, I expect there's going to be a burr. With all that movement, there's going to be a burr. So let's just deburr it before we're going to test on some sort of test on cutting some paper. To deburr, I'm doing very simple. I'm going to just scrape on a piece of wood till bend the burr this way now. Because I bend the burr this way, I'm going to cut it off. It's leading into the stone. I'm going to cut it off. And I'm going to do the other side. Now the burr folded the other direction. I'm going to cut it off the other direction. And I'm going to like the airplane landing. So this way when I touch the stone going to the burr, the folded burr don't bend it the other direction, so the other direction. So in this case, it got folded under more and end up with being cut off. And this is a 4000 grit. And so if you sharpen a knife, and if 4000 grit is a good grit to stop, yeah, and you don't need any higher than that for a kitchen knife. I can take the loop here and take a look at the edge and see anything. If I look at the light here, anything that glinter tell me that they're going to be some burr. It looked fairly clean, so I figured that okay, so we can test cut newsprint and see how it goes. If I cut with the grain, that means up and down. Then will be easy. Now if I go across the grain, will be a little bit more, well, it's supposed to be more challenge. There is a couple of holes. When I slice it this way, you can see there are a couple of holes, probably a burr or two, but you can see it's clean. But now go back to it. Can I push cut about a 45-degree angle? And that push cut after a 4000 grit stone. And push cut cross grain wire will take a little bit more, but that wasn't push cut. Well, I got to pull the paper, make it easier. It won't. So I can do 45-degree push cut, but not the other way. And if I were going to say try to push for push cut, cross grain push cut, let me try to debug it a little bit more. In this case, I go beyond this inexpensive stone I use in the DMT, extra fine and extra fine. And when I fold it over, and so this side here, the burr got folded over. And I'm going to fold the other direction. Now the burr will fold that direction. I'm going to cut it off with the diafold here, 3 micron, extra fine. And I can feel it. There's nothing, no burr sticking out right now. So, but after 4,000 grit stone, and there's a little bit of bite in this edge left in here. So looking for a smooth total push cut could be a little hard, especially cross grain. But we'll test it out and see how it goes. Okay, we'll push 45 degrees. Now we're going to push cross grain. Almost perfect. We'll try to push again. Almost cross grain. Push it straight. This paper got kind of to fold. It's not as smooth, so it doesn't cross push cutting as well, but it will. Now as for demo wise, a lot of time that people do it quick. I can do a quick one. It's of course a piece of cake, and I can go now slowly, even cross grain. Cross grain is easy. Now you go slow. Now I'm going to slice the cross grain slowly. That one caught a little bit right there, but you can see it go through. That one right there make a little noise. And it's able to slice, especially push cut at about 45 degrees, or maybe a little higher cross grain. But other than that, you have a very clean edge, and you can see the almost mirror on the core here, steel, and then the cladding. You can see a nice got a scratch pattern, and also it's got a cloudy. And this is the Yoshikane 180mm patty. And well, I just sharpened on a fairly expensive stone. Slow. All right.